FOMO.
My name is Patrick J. McGinnis, and I'm a FOMO Sapiens. And since you're here, I'm going to bet that you are too. And when you're like us and Monday comes around, you don't dread the new week. No, you wake up every Monday morning knowing that this week might just be the best one yet. This is FOMOnday, the snackable show that starts your week right with hot takes, life hacks, listener mail, and even some FOMO therapy. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of FOMOndays, the snackable companion show to FOMO Sapiens, which of course will be back on Thursday with another full episode. But until then, happy FOMOnday, best day of the week. My name is Patrick J. McGinnis, venture capitalist by day, author and podcaster by night, and FOMO Sapiens 24/7. And frankly, kind of tired out. I've been around the world too many times this summer. I'm back home. I am sort of recovering, and it's just good to be home. And on Thursday, we're going to have our second part two of my conversation with Agapi Stassinopoulos, who wrote a great book called Speaking with Spirit. And if you didn't listen to part one, go listen to it. It's good. It's kind of like a solve for all wounds. If you listen to Agapi, if you're a little weary like me, she just kind of restores one's health, wellness, mental, physical, you name it. And in fact, I saw Agapi on Sunday. We had a little dinner here in New York City, and we're chatting, and she's special. She's a magical person. I was telling her there's this kind of business deal I'm trying to put together, and I was, I want it to happen. So I said, Agapi, can you help me? You have all these magical powers. Like, can you just manifest it for me or something? And she's like, I don't do that. But then she launched into this incredible prayer and recorded it on my phone to listen to, kind of a mantra. Just kind of the whole point of it is, and it's a Rumi quote, but it's the whole point of this is like, your heart should be at ease. If it's meant to happen, it will. If it's not, it'll pass you by. And she's right. You can't force stuff. And one of the things I've been focusing on this summer is not forcing things to happen. I'm part of the Try Too Hard Club. Many of you are too. So just kind of letting things happen on their own. So that's what we're going to talk about Thursday with Agapi. And it's a really good conversation. And we have so many good episodes coming down the pike. I have been recording at a furious pace. Despite all this running around, I have had my recording kit with me in Maine, in the Hamptons, in New York City, just recording all these great shows. I am super psyched. It's just good. This season 10 it's going to be really good. It's a big one. Now, I want to talk about something today. Speaking of weary, I want to talk about just the whole Twitter, X, Threads, Bluesky thing. Because I've been watching this story evolve, and I can't get enough of it. But I also think that it's so related to everything we talk about on this show on FOMO Sapiens. It's FOMO. It's decision-making. It's business and entrepreneurship. It's messy. Not like Leo Messi, the football player, soccer player. It's messy because it's just bad decision-making by some people. And it feels like it's the ultimate 2023 story. And I'll tell you why. So you have Elon Musk buys Twitter kind of on a whim. It's like not a really good reason. Doesn't really do his homework. Buys it for a lot of money. Puts a lot of debt on it. You have a bunch of investors who finance that because, Elon's the greatest. Total FOMO. No analysis, by the way. Completely ridiculous. Then he tries to get out of it. He can't. And then we, as users of it, and I used to love Twitter. I was a total Twitter addict. Why? Breaking news, breaking stories. And now you have, let's add another 2023 element, which is disinformation, misinformation. What can you believe? What is true? What is not? During the whole Russia thing that happened with Yevgeny Prigozhin and Putin and the supposed coup and all that, I went on Twitter because that's where I go for breaking news to get, kind of hot takes on things. You have no idea who's real anymore. All these random people have blue checks and none of the real people have blue checks. So it's you don't know what to believe anymore. And now Twitter is a bad place. It's a bad place. If you go on there, it's really fringy. It's crazy over there. I mean, I feel bad for those people who built a massive Twitter following because I understand you want to stay on it. You're going to buy your blue check because, that's like you've invested all this time to get a Twitter following. That's massive. But the problem is like half the people with blue checks I don't know who these people are. They're bots. Maybe they're like propagandists. It's crazy on there. The stuff that I see, it's the bad place. At the end of the day, what is it? It's narcissist breaking stuff. This is what it is. 2023, that's what it's like. The narcissists are trying to break everything. You guys know how I feel about the narcissists. I've done stories on this. I've been FOMOndays, but it's just like bad. It's Elon's narcissism. It's some of the core users. Like it's a bad story. And so I follow it, and yet I scratch my head and think like, how can this guy who's supposed to be so great, Elon Musk, be such a bad leader and decision maker? Blows my mind. So I want to talk about that. This is what we're going to talk about. I'm going to give you it's only 5 this week, my 5 hot takes when we get back from this break. FOMO. All right, everybody. We are back talking about the messy situation in the world of Twitter, X, Threads, Bluesky, all that sort of stuff. Here's what I can tell you. First of all, context. I have been on Twitter forever. I have a love of Twitter, had a love of Twitter. I joined Threads. I have a Bluesky account. I just got it. I was waiting for that one. That's a hard one to get. Like I had to work the room for that one. And then, of course, Twitter is now called X, I guess. So those are the 4 things we're hitting. So let me tell you my first hot take. Number 1, Twitter. It is going down. It is not reliable anymore. You have no idea what's real and what's not. It's angry. Like it's always been a little angry. It's really angry now, like terribly angry. Especially when you contrast it to Threads and Bluesky, where everybody's so darn happy to not be on Twitter. It's like everybody's so cheery. Twitter is like an angry place. It's like the place where your crazy uncle screams at you at the Thanksgiving dinner table or whatever your national holiday is, where your crazy uncle comes over and screams at you. It doesn't feel good. It has lost its utility. Okay. And so what does this mean? What it means is like, even if Elon has some brilliant plan to turn it into the everything app that he says he wants to do. And by the way, he has like 3 other jobs, so I'm not sure how he's going to do that. Even so, there's no human capital to build it. They fired everybody. He's got this new CEO, Linda Yaccarino, I believe her name is, who I'm sure is, trying her best. But like, how can you run a company when the owner is like tweeting out what you're doing next? It's like, oh, we're renaming the company. Whoops. So it's being run on whims. And I think, and I'm comparing this. This is trepidatious, but like I think about the war in Ukraine. I'm not saying that Elon is Vladimir Putin, so please don't write me about that. But similarly, like just no plan. And we're glad about that because we don't want that war to go on. But it's sort of like they launch a war and the planning is so poor that they think their war is going to be over in a week. And here we are in, a year later plus, just like, why are these narcissistic people inflicting their bad plans upon the planet? That's exactly what's happening here. I see them aligned. And if you disagree, please let me know. Maybe I'm being histrionic, but I think I'm right. Number 2. So yeah, Twitter's going down, but like Threads is boring. Okay. Boring. I've gone on there. It's like I have no desire. It has nothing for me. I like the fact that it's not angry, but it's so boring. It just makes me say, why am I not on Instagram right now? Like there's nothing here for me. So I think Threads benefited from this anti-Elon effect. People wanted to be on Threads just to say like, we don't like you, Elon. That certainly was fueled me and I was all excited. But then after 3 days, I was like, wow, this is boring. Like, why am I here? I could be doing other things with my day. You know what? I could be reading Agapi Stassinopoulos' book. I could be, meditating. I could be reading a book. I could be on some other social media. So Threads needs to figure out its raison d'etre. Like, why does it exist? And then tell the rest of us so we can actually use it for that purpose. Number 3, Bluesky. So Bluesky, have you heard about Bluesky? It's Jack Dorsey's Twitter competitor. And it's hard to get an invite to that one. I was trolling around like everybody I know. I was like asking about it. I finally got the invite. Thank you to the person that gave it to me, Peter. And I went on there and it is exactly Twitter, but just with nobody on it. And it's really cute. Like it's sweet. Everybody's quirky and fun. I dig it. It's just that there's nothing to read. And I don't know who anybody is except for Jake Tapper's on there. Well done, Jake. But other than that, you go on there and it's sort of like walking into a 1980 shopping mall today. There's nobody there. There's like a Macy's store and a Sears, and they both closed already. And so it's kind of like, again, it's like, why am I here? What is the utility this is serving? I don't need more ways to waste my time. I already have a phone, right? So I don't know. And then it's like, I kind of feel like the more it is like, now that I have all three of these, I don't want to use any of them. It's very interesting. Now, what does this all mean? Number 4, the lesson, the takeaway for me is this. When you are a business person, I mean, this is so basic, but somehow none of them getting it right. You got to figure out what your value prop is. Why are people using your service or product? And then give it to them. And this is the big part. This is where the narcissists lose. They forget that the star of the show is not the entrepreneur. The star of the show is the customer. You are there to provide a service to a customer. If you're not doing that, then you are going to fail. And so that is the whole point. You just need to provide value to somebody. And if you're not doing that, then you're going to fail. And when you're a narcissist, you're self-obsessed, so you're not doing that. It's really interesting. Really interesting stuff. Finally, my prediction. I just think fracturing of the social media landscape. Twitter is going to just fade into irrelevance. It's going to kind of be like, I mean, Yahoo is still around, but like nobody thinks about Yahoo. Think about Clubhouse. I'm sure people still go to Clubhouse, like 5 people. Good for them. But I remember on this very show on FOMOndays, I did a program about Clubhouse. You can go find it in the archive. And I predicted, like, it's just, guys, like, no. Nobody wants to be on Clubhouse 3 hours a day. It's so slow. It takes forever. Sure enough, they are not. Clubhouse laid off everybody. I mean, they barely have a staff anymore, according to some news reports I read a couple months back. So that's it. Twitter will just continue to dwindle. And because they have tons of debt, it's going to get nasty. Who knows who's going to own it? And then the other ones, like, you know, they'll be around, but they're not going to scale. Threads, maybe they'll figure out a raison d'etre there. I don't know. I don't see Bluesky scaling. So I think we're just going to see more fracturing and more things coming up. What that means for our greater society, I have no idea. I would say probably it's good because, frankly, Twitter just got bad. And so maybe people need to spend less time online and do something else with their day. All right, that's my hot take. I would love yours. I put out a lot of, I would say, reasonably controversial thoughts out there. So if you think I'm crazy or you think I'm right or you just want to yell at me, don't do it on Twitter. Just send me an email. Or you can do it on Twitter at PJ McGinnis, Instagram at Patrick J. McGinnis, Threads at Patrick J. McGinnis, Bluesky at Patrick J. McGinnis. Or you can send me an email at letsconnect@patrickmcginnis.com. All right, everybody. I will see you on Thursday with Agape. It's such a good episode. You're going to love it. And until then, take care of yourselves. FOMO Sapiens. FOMO. If you like today's show, please be sure to rate it and recommend it to your friends. And as always, you can find me on Instagram at Patrick J. McGinnis, on Twitter at PJ McGinnis, and on the web at FOMOSapiens.com or PatrickMcGinnis.com, where you can get all kinds of free resources to live a more decisive and entrepreneurial life. FOMO. Want more FOMO Sapiens and FOMOnday? Head over to FOMOSapiens.com where you can listen to past episodes, learn more about the show, and find out how to advertise. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Patrick J. McGinnis and on Twitter at PJ McGinnis.